come on, we're losing him. His weight is out of control and his body's giving up. We've tried everything, but it's not enough. Please, there must be another way. I'm sorry, there's not much we can do. His blood sugar has spiraled out of control and his body has given up. The damage is too much. Don't give up on him. There's gotta be a way. As unbelievable as it seems, this story has a happy ending. How do I know that? Because that dying person in the hospital bed is me, and the story is mine. And the only reason I survived that incident and I'm here today to tell you all of this is because in my desperate battle with a painful and premature death, I stumbled upon what academics call the most stunning glucose normalization of the century. A hack so ingenious that it not only took my A1C levels from 11.5 to a healthy and steady 5.4, but also saved me from a tethered life where my mobility and freedom were ripped off by my failing kidneys. In just a few moments, I'll show you the blacklisted 20 years longitudinal scientific research that proves how this method will eradicate your type 2 diabetes quickly and effectively. You'll watch as pounds of dangerous fat melt away and you reclaim control of your life. Your glucose levels will be rock steady to the point that stabbing your finger every day with that diabetes prick will eventually become unnecessary and long forgotten thing of the past. Your energy levels will skyrocket and you'll find yourself enjoying every movement your body makes. You'll finally be able to feel what those highly motivated, slim, athletic joggers feel when they go by saying, "On your left," with a smile on the jogging trail in the park. You'll feel a burst of energy and stamina like you did on your best days. You'll save thousands of dollars on prescription medications, leaving your doctor and those around you stunned by your incredible, jaw-dropping physical changes. But there's more, so much more. You'll finally break free from the heavy chains caused by your inexplicable weight gain. All those extra pounds that stole your enthusiasm for life, messing up your love life, friendships, and work goals. You'll no longer be a prisoner to a life filled with limitations, feeling trapped into an impaired body that seems like it only works against you. So, if you're ready to experience a life beyond what you thought was possible, to reverse your type 2 diabetes and take back control of your life, then please be patient and very attentive over the next few moments. This is not just another diabetes management trend that quickly fades away, or some breaking news exaggeration like all those you see in your daily feed. Already backed by dozens of medical research papers and award-winning scientists in every sense of the word, this is indeed a true paradigm shift that can turn back the clock on your type 2 diabetes and transform your entire body. What I used to reverse my type 2 diabetes goes against any conventional wisdom you may have heard. So if you think it's crazy right now, just wait. You have no idea what's coming. This secret method, which reverses type 2 diabetes, has been discovered by a scientist from the exotic Middle East, a true maverick who risked her very life to smuggle it out from the heart of the traditional Arab remedies culture. This technique directly targets the real reason behind your spiking glucose levels, insulin resistance, and erratic pancreas. It has already set tremors inside the crooked $29 billion type 2 diabetes industry, which is now preparing for the biggest battle they have ever faced. And probably the best thing about this is that it's absolutely safe and natural, allowing you to stabilize your glucose levels, fix your metabolism, and reset your pancreas. You're about to find out the real reason for your high blood sugar that isn't your genes, sugary foods, or fat deposits in the wrong places. Instead, the hidden culprit is a sneaky enemy hiding deep inside your body, suffocating your pancreas and sending your glucose levels skyrocketing. It's a ticking time bomb that's growing worse each and every day, making you dependent on dangerous drugs with nasty side effects, leaving you stuck pricking your fingers every day, making them look like pincushions, unable to think straight because of brain fog, and tired all the time. If that sounds true to you, then the following diagnosis may apply to you. So don't lose hope just yet, because in the next 3 minutes, I'll show how this super solution can blast away your high blood sugar and give you the power to take back control of your health and body in less than a few weeks. This approach was a game changer for Sarah in Denver, Colorado. Within 10 weeks, her blood sugar levels decreased from 9.2 to 5.5. Lucas in Miami, Florida, tried it too and lost 20 pounds in just 4 weeks while managing his blood sugar levels below 135. Amanda in San Francisco, California, dropped an impressive 50 pounds and has seen an overall improvement in her health, including lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Other users have reported benefits like clearer skin, improved digestion, reduced joint pain, and better immune system function. So, if you're anything like them, tired of choking down dozens of creepy pills and sticking needles in your belly to give yourself insulin shots, sick of being forced to eat bland rabbit food all the time, then hear me out. This natural organic blend will help you get those normal blood sugar levels you crave while still enjoying all your favorite tasty treats, just like it did for over 97,000 Americans, Europeans, and others from all over the world. So incorporate this once-in-a-lifetime discovery into your morning routine and watch it go to work dissolving the gunk in your pancreas, firing up your insulin, burning off all your stubborn fat, and making you feel young and vibrant again. Feel the burst of energy taking over your body. Watch as your bad cholesterol diminishes to nothing. Be stunned as blood pressure passes the doctor's check every time you pay him a visit. And live life on your own terms once again. Isn't this what you always wanted? I hear you. It's normal to have a healthy share of doubt about what I'm saying right now. After being deceived for all those years, conditioned to think that your only salvation lies in accepting their drug-filled cures and yucky medicine, there is no cure for type 2 diabetes. You'll have to live like this for the rest of your life. Give up eating normally and switch to a rabbit food diet. Take countless drugs every day and exercise until you're no longer able to breathe, and it'll be fine. You'll never be like one of us again. Does this sound familiar to you? And despite cutting off all the little pleasures in life, your test results keep changing for the worse. You feel tired, exhausted, frustrated. You even gave up on the seemingly harmless pizza and movie nights with your spouse. And still, your A1C levels were never higher. Wondering how this can be? Well, there's a single possible answer. Type 2 diabetes is not your fault. Let that sink in. And until now, no one ever looked behind the curtain to reveal what truly triggered your type 2 diabetes. Your doctor, highly paid media reporters, big pharma moguls, the government, they all act like the disease that's harassing more than 70% of Americans today is just normal or another part of getting old. And while the big pharma industry is raking in billions of dollars each year by jacking up the price of insulin by a whopping 1,000% every couple of years, regular folks like us are struggling to make ends meet just to afford the meds that keep us going. I understand that right now it might sound crazy to think that a secretive method, even one that is scientifically proven, can fix your type 2 diabetes. I would have thought the same if it wasn't for this exotic Arab hack. So get rid of any distractions and pay close attention, because today I'll give you the hard scientific evidence behind the success of this glucose regulating formula. My name is Tom Thaler, and I'm a 52-year-old retired firefighter currently working as a fire prevention specialist for the local fire rescue department here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm happily married to my high school sweetheart, Christine, and have 2 kids, Nate and Naomi. My health started deteriorating in 2016, soon after I turned 45. It was that winter, just around my birthday, when I noticed I was really feeling tired, pretty much all the time, no matter how much sleep I'd gotten that night before. I was feeling hungry like never before, and my mouth would even get so dry that I had to carry a water bottle with me all the time. I was up 3, sometimes even 4 times a night to go to the bathroom, which actually made me suspect something was wrong with my prostate gland. The good news was that my prostate turned out to be fine. The bad news was that I learned that I was officially classified as a type 2 diabetic. You've got type 2 diabetes. Here's your prescription. Go to a pharmacy, buy the meds, exercise daily, count your calories, and get back to me in 3 months, said my doctor with a bored voice after looking at my test results. That was it. A $200 consultation which left me humiliated, confused, and angry that something bad I didn't understand was happening in my body. After getting home and having a comforting chat with my wife, I decided to give the doctor the benefit of the doubt and follow his indications with a near religious zest. How naive could I have been? 3 months down the line, and I went to see my doctor again. He made me take the blood test again, and my A1C came up 10.5. That was 2 points higher than the previous time. Looks like your body doesn't respond well to metformin. We'll have to double your daily dose, and I'm also giving you some insulin as your pancreas seems really lazy, said the doctor. And will that cure me? Who was talking about a cure? Said the doctor, like I somehow offended his monthly paycheck. There's no cure for type 2 diabetes. You'll have to take medication and get regular checkups for the rest of your life. What? I felt numb, terrified, and hopeless all at once. It was like my body had become my enemy, and I was trapped in a nightmare. Nothing seemed certain anymore, and nothing could have prepared me for the stress and anxiety that had taken over my life. I had to give up pretty much everything that once brought me joy and pleasure. Eating out with friends and colleagues was now a source of fear and anxiety, and even a simple meal had become a dreaded event. It was hard to explain to others why I couldn't enjoy the things I used to. They just couldn't understand how I was feeling. My body was constantly betraying me, and the medications I had to take were slowly turning me into a zombie. I barely recognized myself anymore, and it was hard to find any joy or hope in my life. I was just going through the motions day by day. The most frustrating thing was the constant calculations I had to make. I was always worried that I would make a mistake and accidentally hurt myself. A mistaken insulin dose, a few extra carbs, or forgetting about one of my 5 daily pills, and God knew what could happen. The fear of not getting it right was always present, and it was exhausting to live with. I didn't know how much longer I could go on like this. The thought of living the rest of my life this way was unbearable. Would things ever get better, or was this my new reality? I was left with so many questions and no answers. And as I was soon about to find out, it's never good to ignore the symptoms. It was the beautiful spring of 2020 when I woke up feeling a little more energized and filled with hope. It was the big day, the day of my son Nate's college graduation, and I was beaming with pride. My children's education was always a big deal for me, especially since my wife and I have invested almost all our money to make sure they get the best chances in their careers. Ever since he got into engineering school, I promised Nate to be there for him no matter what and support him the best I can. Nothing was going to stop me from witnessing his big moment, I thought. As a type 2 diabetic, I had been advised by my doctor to attend a checkup that morning, but of course I chose to postpone it for the day, thinking I was doing fine and one day is not a big difference. As the ceremony began, I could feel my heart beating faster. I tried to ignore it, thinking that it was just a small issue. You're just overexcited, I said to myself. But then I began to feel dizzy and disoriented, and my vision became blurry. Everything around me started to fade to black, and my body felt heavy, like I was sinking into a never-ending abyss. I couldn't hear anything except the sound of my own labored breathing, which was getting weaker and weaker by the second. I tried to hold on to my consciousness, but it was impossible. My body gave out, and before I knew it, I was collapsing onto the ground. Next thing I remember is that I woke up in a suffocating hospital room, surrounded by a myriad of machines and tubes. My wife and daughter were sitting by my side, and my son was nowhere to be found. What happened? I mumbled, because my mouth was so dry I could barely speak. Honey, your pancreas failed you and you blacked out during the ceremony while Nate was on the stage. Luckily, there was a doctor in the audience who gave you first aid until the ambulance came. My eyes went wide with dread, realizing that I had ruined one of the most important moments of his life. The graduation had been my son's day, and I had turned it into a tragic event. "Where's Nate?" I shouted. "He's outside. I'll tell him you're awake," said my wife. But before she could do that, the doctor came in. "Mr. Thaler, I see that you're awake," the doctor shouted as he patted my face. "You had a diabetic coma, sir. Your blood sugar levels were dangerously high." "What happened?" I groaned. "Your pancreas failed unexpectedly, sir. It stopped producing insulin, and your blood sugar levels skyrocketed," he explained. I tried to sit up, but intense pain shot through my left arm. "My arm, it hurts." "You broke your arm, sir, when you collapsed on the floor." "I'm sorry to tell you, but it will heal very slowly because of your type 2 diabetes. You might not be able to use it for a long time." "What does that mean for my job as a firefighter?" I asked, my heart racing. "I'm afraid you might have to give it up for good, sir. Your injuries are too severe," the doctor said solemnly. The news shattered me. Not only had I ruined my son's big day, but now I'll have to give up my dream job, the one I had trained for all my life. As I laid in my hospital bed, my mind raced. How would we pay the bills? How could I provide for my family? I felt like my whole world had just came crashing down on me. I didn't know what to do. "Don't worry, we'll figure it out," my daughter said as she took my hand. "We'll find a way to make things work." But as I lay there, I couldn't help but feel like my life was over. I couldn't imagine anything but a future that looked bleak and uncertain, and I had no idea what would happen next. The thought of not being able to provide for my family and serve my community set me to a really dark place. I vowed I would end things on my own terms. I wouldn't end up a heavy burden on my loved ones, nor a useless citizen unable to serve my community. However, by a miracle, none of this would happen, because God gave me a second chance that came in the form of an amazing Arab invention. It was a few days after I had received the shocking news about my health, and I was sitting in the hospital garden trying to process everything. "Why are you so sad?" a mysterious old woman asked me. I looked up and saw Latifa, dressed in a traditional headscarf and abaya, but with a warm smile on her face. "Can I help you?" she asked kindly. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk to a stranger about my problems, but something about her presence put me at ease. So I began to tell her my whole story, how I had been struggling to control my blood sugar levels despite my best efforts. I had ruined my son's graduation, and now I'm on the verge of losing my job. To my surprise, Latifa listened patiently and then shared her own story. She was an Arab doctor and researcher in gastroenterology who had fled the Middle East due to political persecution. She was born into a traditional Arab family where women were not allowed to pursue an education or enter professions. Latifa's grandfather, who was a renowned doctor, had a vast library of medical books, which she would secretly read at night. As she grew older, Latifa's passion for medicine intensified. She began to practice what she had learned from her grandfather's books in secret, disguised as a male, in order to be able to treat patients. Her secret was discovered during a medical emergency. She had been treating a patient in a small village when a group of religious authorities arrived unexpectedly. They demanded to see the doctor, who was attending to the patient, suspecting that it might be a woman disguising herself as a man. When they discovered her true identity, they were outraged. They accused her of blasphemy, violating gender norms and the rules of her religion. She was threatened with severe punishment and death. She had no choice but to burn all her medical notes and flee for her life. But once she got here, she was shocked to find how the U.S. medical system is focusing solely on drugs and suppressing the symptoms of the disease rather than understanding the human body. Like me, she was struggling with the limitations of the Western medical system. She told me about her research on the development of diabetes and how her findings challenged the prevailing medical paradigm. I have developed a holistic approach to treating diabetes that takes into account all of the biological factors that contribute to the disease, she explained. I was fascinated by what she had to say and asked her how I could learn more. I can teach you, she replied simply, but you have to be willing to trust me and follow my guidance. As she explained her approach, I could feel my skepticism melting away. There was something about her presence that exuded a sense of calm and wisdom. Look, Tom, I'm sure that they've told you that the cause of your type 2 diabetes is a lack of insulin caused by your pancreas getting slower. I'm sure that they've also told you that the reason for it is your poor diet, sugary snacks, lack of exercise, and weight gain. But the truth is that even though eating healthy and keeping an active body is always a good idea, type 2 diabetes has nothing to do with that. Instead, it has everything to do with something I call pancreatic reserve. Healthy pancreas have something called pancreatic reserve, a reserve that basically stores insulin and is able to instantly provide the insulin amount your body needs for a meal without the pancreas having to produce a huge amount of insulin the moment you eat. The difference between people who have type 2 diabetes and healthy people is not how fast their pancreas works or how much insulin it is able to produce at a time, but the fact that a diabetic pancreas has lost that reserve and can't get it back. This puts your pancreas under too much stress the moment you, forcing it to produce a higher quantity of insulin than we are programmed to produce, a quantity that even a healthy person wouldn't be able to produce if it wasn't for their pancreatic reserve. As a result, not only does your blood sugar go through the roof because of the lack of sufficient insulin, but your pancreas is also put under enormous pressure, further disrupting its normal functioning. Think of your pancreas like a fire hydrant. Your pancreas produces insulin and stores it in a reserve, just like a fire hydrant is connected to a water supply, storing more water than firefighters need. For a healthy individual, their pancreas reserve is like having a fire hydrant with plenty of water available. When the person eats, their body signals the pancreas to release insulin, which is like opening the hydrant valve to put out a fire. The pancreas has plenty of stored insulin to meet the demand, and the body's blood sugar levels remain stable. For a person with diabetes, their pancreas reserve is like having a fire hydrant that's only connected to a small pipe that provides a limited amount of water. When the person eats, their body signals the pancreas to release insulin, which is like opening the hydrant valve to put out a fire. The pancreas doesn't have enough stored insulin to meet the demand, so it has to produce more insulin quickly to keep up. This is like trying to put out a fire with a small stream of water from the fire hydrant. Over time, the constant strain on the pancreas for a person with diabetes can cause it to wear out and become less effective at producing insulin, leading to even more chronic high blood sugar levels and diabetes complications. Picture this. We have a leaking roof, and every time it rains, water drips onto your floor, damaging your furniture, your carpeting, and generally causing a mess. You call a repairman, and he comes over with a bucket to catch the water, telling you he's fixed the problem. But every time it rains, the same thing happens, and the bucket isn't big enough to catch all the water. This is what's happening with the pharmaceutical industry and diabetes. They're just putting a bucket under the leak instead of fixing the actual problem. Sure, it might catch some of the water, but it's not a long-term solution. It's time to fix the roof, not just keep placing buckets. This 2017 longitudinal study performed on patients under metformin treatment showed that more than half of the subjects developed gastrointestinal issues that lead to metabolic and weight gain issues. Moreover, a 2020 study performed by the Department of Clinical Study in the United Arab Emirates shows that metformin, in addition to digestive effects, has also been proven to cause hepatotoxicity, acute pancreatitis, coagulation, and vitamin B12 alterations. This flat out proves that trying to lower your glucose levels by relying on drugs and insulin shots is leading you down a path where you could end up with more complications than you would get by doing nothing about it. Thinking about all the innocent people that irrevocably lost their health to those drugs, including the ones that participated in the study, made my blood boil. Because if it wasn't for Latifah, I would have surely become one of them. That moment, I knew that this medical mafia that makes a living on the backs of innocent, suffering people just like you and me has to be stopped. And so did she. And today, you're just about to discover the only natural way to recharge that pancreatic reserve, which you've long lost, and reverse your type 2 diabetes. A natural and highly effective way to live a fulfilling and worry-free life once again. Because Latifah wasn't pointing out the truth just to show off her medical knowledge. Fortunately for me, she also had a solution. A natural solution that can restore my pancreatic reserve, I asked her with wide eyes. It sounded too good to be true, but Latifah's conviction and expertise left me feeling hopeful. She explained how too much somatic stress had drained my body of its natural reserves, leaving my pancreas unable to produce the insulin I needed to regulate my blood sugar. The solution she was offering me worked in 2 phases. First, it would work to reduce the impact of somatic stress on my body, allowing my pancreas to recover and rebuild its natural reserves. And second, it would help to restore the proper functioning of my pancreas so that it could produce insulin and regulate my blood sugar levels more effectively. Latifah pulled a small bottle from her pocket, filled with a clear liquid. Take a few drops of this every morning, she instructed, and you'll start to feel the effects in no time. I took the bottle from her, feeling both excited and apprehensive. Could this really be the solution I had been searching for? That day, I went home and took my first dose, and then went straight to bed. And boy, oh boy, I have to say that nothing could have prepared me for what happened next. The next morning, as I got out of bed, I felt that something had changed. I felt different in my own skin. I went for a walk with my dog, and after one trip around the neighborhood, I realized I was walking for 40 minutes without feeling exhausted or dizzy. Later that day, my daughter and her family joined for dinner. My wife was surprised to notice that not only was I in a great mood, making everybody laugh like the old days, but I could also remember small details from my daughter's childhood that even my wife had all but forgotten. My usual brain fog was gone, and my mental clarity and sense of humor were back. So I went on using Latifah's solution. Every morning, I would take 2 drops of the liquid she gave me with my breakfast, and then just go on with my usual routine. After 6 days, I was in awe to read that my 2 hours after meal blood sugar levels had dropped from an average of 200 to an almost healthy level of 150. And this is not all. My digestion improved dramatically and was functioning now like a Swiss watch. Pounds of heavy fat melted off my belly, hips, thighs, and face. My vision was now razor sharp, and I no longer needed 30 trips to the bathroom every day because I wasn't thirsty all the time anymore. My skin was looking better, and my funky foot fungus disappeared. I read a lot about miracles in the Holy Bible. However, I would never have thought that something so close to a miracle could happen to me. After 3 weeks of following this simple morning routine, I went from dangerous and fluctuating blood sugar levels that often exceeded 300 to a steady and healthy 120, which left my doctor scratching his head trying to figure out how it was possible. Never in my wildest dreams have I ever hoped for such a transformation. Now, I could actually see the possibility of growing old with my wife once again. I could be there for my family, see my son grow up and dance at his wedding. I could finally take my wife on that European tour she always dreamed of. My confidence and vigor came back in full force. I could make plans for the future instead of taking it one day at a time. All my friends and family told me that I was radiating happiness and health. Not only did I heal my body, get my life back, but I was again the rock of my family. But I've also beaten the odds and escaped a life sentence that had been signed by the very same people we're all trusting to take care of us and do well by us. I couldn't help but think how this could impact the lives of millions of diabetics who are still stuck on an endless downward spiral of erratic blood sugar levels. taking drugs with a laundry list of side effects, getting sicker because of them, dealing with the ever-increasing financial burden, and watching as they lose more and more control over their body and life. That moment, I realized that this is not about me anymore, but about every honest, hardworking man and woman in this country, trapped in the same exact situation. So I went straight back to Latifah with the simple thought of convincing her to help me get this formula to all the people that desperately need it. She was hesitant, and I couldn't blame her. If this solution becomes popular and my story gets into the spotlight, they'll come after me, Tom. Everything's one click away nowadays. I have a family. I don't want to risk being deported and spending the rest of my life in prison, or even worse. She was right. And the last thing in the world I would wish for is to harm the life of the person that saved mine. So we hired a lawyer that came up with the idea to change her name in order to protect her identity. He also put together a best practices document that we all had to follow strictly, including the lawyer, to guard Latifah's anonymity. After a few discussions with the lawyer, Latifah finally felt safe enough and agreed to help me. We began spreading the word, sharing my story and others from her case studies. Like Mike Dow, Latifah found his wife crying on the steps of the hospital after the surgeon told them his leg infection was too advanced to go away without amputation. His case was not promising at all, with an A1C of 12, with a stage 3 hypertension of 180/110, and his LDL or bad cholesterol levels was 210. After only 3 months of using Latifah's solution, he was at a steady A1C level of 5.5, bad cholesterol at 110, and his hypertension turned into an impeccable 120/80. Moreover, his palpitations were gone and his leg wounds healed beautifully. Something similar happened to Joanna. After 2 pregnancies, which left her with extra baggage amounting to 60 pounds, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Her blood sugar levels were constantly over 350, and her cravings and wild hunger were keeping her up at night. It took 6 months of following Latifah's plan, but ultimately, she not only got rid of her erratic glucose spikes and cravings, but also dropped all her post-pregnancy pounds plus 8 more. Or Roger, who was dependent on insulin. All it took was 4 months of Latifah's natural remedy to lower his A1C to 5.2, which forced his doctor to admit he no longer needed medication. A few days after going live online, our campaign attracted more than 100 curious people that wanted to know more about our diabetes elixir. The interest was definitely higher than we expected, which gave us a problem we couldn't foresee. Every bottle of this special mixture needs to go through a very attentive making process, which can take months to complete. First, the mixture contains rare ingredients from 3 different continents, which are both expensive and hard to come by. Secondly, we cannot create batches that last more than 3 months because the freshness of the ingredients is directly linked to the formula efficacy, like coffee Arabica seed extract, which comes directly from the rural areas of southwestern Ethiopia and has been used in traditional Arab medicine since 500 BC, before Christ. In a 2013 randomized study, Joe Vinso, a leading professor of the University of Scranton in Pennsylvania, and colleagues previously observed that participants who consumed this green coffee extract over a period of 22 weeks lost about 10% of their body weight. Building on their findings, they began to investigate whether the extract, which contains a high concentration of chlorogenic acids, had an effect on blood glucose. Participants were given between 100 milligrams and 400 milligrams of the extract daily and underwent glucose tolerance tests. At the end of the study, the test showed that the green coffee extract was successful in lowering the level of blood sugar in each participant by a minimum of 38%. But it's not just this. The mixture also contains purple carrot powder, which is known to exhibit strong anti-diabetic potential by regulating insulin distribution in your body and making your cells more sensitive to insulin. A 2018 study from the National Library of Medicine found that carrot supplementation, which is rich in carotenoids, lowered blood sugar significantly in 100% of the subjects. Moreover, purple carrot's main bioactive compounds showed itself to be effective against all metabolic disease by inhibiting inflammatory triggered by distressed immune system. Absorbing the phenolic compounds such as anthocyanin present in purple carrot roots may be especially productive in avoiding or delaying the onset of pancreatic disease and also have been found to help restore low pancreatic reserve. One of the core ingredients added to the blend was also selenium. A 2019 longitudinal study performed on 92 Greek patients who were type 2 diabetics and also heavy smokers, more than 30 cigarettes per day, showed that after just 6 months of regularly taking selenium, both their glucose levels and HbA1c went down more than 30% without them changing their diets or even giving up smoking. But that's not all. Their bad LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, and triglycerides lowered, and their heart health improved tremendously, getting their risk of developing cardiovascular disease to almost zero. The next ingredient is cinnamon extract. Studies show that when harvested right from its motherland, Sri Lanka, and for some reason only from there, cinnamon extract has the incredible properties of imitating insulin from your body and increasing insulin sensitivity, making insulin more efficient at moving sugar into cells. Now, the formula Latifa gave me contained all of the ingredients I mentioned. But then, after we ran a big test on more than 200 volunteers, we got to the conclusion that there are 6 more rare compounds that will synergistically make this formula even better by targeting also the side effects of type 2 diabetes, like eliminating body and visceral fat, foot fungus, improving vision, skin quality, sleep and mood, sexual health, and even work on memory loss and improve your brain sharpness. Adding 6 more rare ingredients was hard on our budget. But now we could rest assured that we had created the most impactful type 2 diabetes reversing solution there is. Something that goes directly to the root cause of your chaotic blood sugar levels and restores your healthy pancreatic reserve. All we needed now was a manufacturer that has the leading edge technology able to put our high purity certified ingredients together without altering its bioavailability. After 3 months of relentless searches and vetting companies, we finally found a manufacturer that met our standards. The moment I first held it in my hands, I knew that I was witnessing something truly historic, something that had the power to change the course of the human history forever. I felt humbled to realize just how small we all are in the face of true scientific greatness. And this is how Glucolean was born. The only 100% natural liquid blend that fights somatic stress and addresses the scientifically proven root cause of your type 2 diabetes, which is your low pancreatic reserve. Glucolean is the only product in the world with a proprietary blend of 10 of the highest quality ancient detoxifying nutrients in plants and the exact clinically proven quantities to normalize blood sugar levels and trigger insulin sensitivity to supercharge metabolism for both men and women. No wonder it has been called a life changer for more than 97,000 now diabetes-free people around the globe that decided to take back control over their body and life. Honest people just like you who not a long time ago were living in fear and pain, that were lucky enough to see this report and now are enjoying life as they knew it before diabetes once again. People like Colleen Hoover, who said, "This is something every American should know about. The way it works, it's just impressive. I started 5 months ago from a constant blood sugar level of 350, which wouldn't go down regardless of anything I did throughout the day. I even started consuming large quantities of apple cider vinegar, which is known for reducing the glucose spike, but eventually it would make me so sick I had to skip work frequently. In just 5 months, Glucolean completely transformed my body. Now, my number won't go up more than 130 to 135, no matter what I eat. I recommend it to all my friends and family members and would love to see this natural method gain more visibility. Thank you, Glucolean team, for giving me my health back. And there's Roger from Jackson, Minnesota saying, 3 months ago, I was in a very bad place, both physically and mentally. After being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at only 42 years old, what followed was a period of switching prescription meds like socks, and no treatment seemed to give me anything but side effects. First, it was glycoside, which gave me 30 pounds of weight gain in less than 3 months. Then, my doctor prescribed liraglutide, which made me so nauseous I'd often have panic attacks. Metformin was so hard on my stomach, I'd even had to go to the emergency room one night. After so many failed attempts, I agreed to try Glucolean, only because my wife insisted. But I can honestly say my hopes were lower than the ground beneath my feet. But after using it for 3 months straight, the impossible happened anyway. For the first time in the last 3 years, my regular checkup revealed a healthy A1C of 5.6%. In less than 10 weeks, I would eventually drop every single pound I gained because of glycoside. Of course, I also watched my diet and kept an active lifestyle. But before Glucolean, it was all for nothing. It's so motivating to finally see some results. As you can see, Glucolean has already given amazing results to tens of thousands of people who tried it, regardless of their gender, age, genetic baggage, or where they live. But there's even more to it than high potency, rare compounds mixed together. It's also about its unique active absorption formulation. We chose the liquid form for 3 reasons. First, because drops are more easily absorbed into your body and more bioavailable than any other form, getting to replenish your pancreatic reserve in a faster and safer way. Secondly, because your body already subconsciously associates pills and capsules with type 2 diabetes. So taking more capsules or pills, even though this is 100% natural, might trigger another somatic stress reaction, which is exactly what we are trying to fight. And third is more personal. Because as a former diabetic, I know how it feels taking a fistful of pills for what seems like an eternity. I wanted to make the habit of taking Glucolean something easy, convenient, and even enjoyable for everyone. Listen, I know how they have told you over and over again that in order to get better, you have to make sacrifices, to sweat, to restrain, to suffer. But this is not true. And this breakthrough formula is here to teach you the exact opposite. The road to healing your body was never easier and more affordable. Just imagine what your life will be like in less than a few weeks. You wake up in the morning feeling relaxed and rested. There's no need to worry about your blood sugar and rush to take some old test every single time. Praying to God this time you can eat normal food, at least for one day. How relieved and ecstatic you feel when you finally get your A1C results and they are under 6, even with that occasional indulgence that you now can afford. Watching your doctor's jaw-dropping expression as they struggle to understand your incredible transformation. The peace of mind you have to take your foot off the brakes and start living your life to the fullest once again. Imagine doing anything you want, anytime you want, without having to stress about sticking needles in your body at the worst times possible and feeling ashamed, excusing yourself at a family dinner or during an important meeting. Resuming your ambitions and goals before type 2 diabetes knocked off your life and going after them at full speed. Picture having at least an extra $1,000 at the end of the month to spend any way you want, or being able to save it for your retirement. And most important, imagine that right now you can say out loud no to a life of suffering and addiction to toxic drugs that make you feel even sicker. This formula is no less than a godsend, and it's the only way you can escape type 2 diabetes and get your life back in record time, exactly how it did for 97,000 other lucky folks. People like you who are tired of avoiding any social events because they are afraid that others would judge them based on their size. People that felt trapped in a constant calorie counting loop and deprived of the most enjoyable moments of their lives. People that used to feel like diabetes was holding them back from living their best life, and it was exhausting. But then I discovered a simple yet effective method that helped me shed the pounds and feel better about myself. I myself used to be one of those people, until an incredible twist of fate allowed me to discover this formula. Something that wasn't a miracle cure or a quick fix, but rather a lifestyle change that has made all the difference. And now, all I want is to give back a fraction of the huge blessing I was given and share it with you. Because I want you to feel the same joy and peace of mind me and thousands of other people feel every day. To live every minute of your new diabetes-free life to the fullest. To be there for your loved ones. To dance, run, go out, laugh, travel, eat great food. All this in good spirits and youthful vitality. So, by now you're probably asking yourself how you can get your hands on Glucolean. Now here's the tricky part. Did you know that over 98% of the supplements on the market are counterfeit and contain no active ingredients? In order to get better deals, traders buy enormous quantities of ingredients that end up spending up to 5 years in their warehouse before someone else buys it from them. That means that thousands of people are fooled and tricked to take expired pills that, in the best case scenarios, leave you with a hole in your pocket. And in the worst case scenario, can even cause intoxication, allergic reactions, or in the most extreme cases, even poisoning. This is why I swore that when it comes to Glucolean, I'll never make any compromise whatsoever. And yes, that comes with a higher cost for us. So we cut corners on the marketing side. That's why you'll never see this product on a big billboard in Times Square, nor in a primetime commercial. There's definitely a compromise to be made, and I'd choose 1,000 times over compromising getting the word out to fewer people who I can genuinely help than mass selling a product that only makes people poorer, not healthier. So that's why, in order to maintain a pristine standard of quality and purity, we opted for expensive but really pure ingredients that come in the smallest batches only once every 5 months. This means that once we run out of supply, you'll have to wait another 5 months. And this usually happens days after we get a new delivery, because the people who have tested our product and regained their lives keep coming for more bottles for themselves, their families, and for their friends. Just to stock up in case we won't be able to provide it anymore. And to make sure that they have the power to fight diabetes for the rest of their lives. There's also a huge category of people that only have pre-diabetes or struggle with inexplicable weight gain who get Glucolean to rejuvenate their body, prevent diabetes onset, and eliminate fat around their body. There's also people who call and send messages directly to our facility hoping that they'll be able to order higher quantities. That's why our stock is running low as we speak. But since you've already taken the time to watch this report today, in the next few minutes, you'll find out how to get your hands on a brand new bottle. However, before that, let me quickly explain to you how you should use Glucolean. It's simple. 2 drops of Glucolean every morning for at least 45 days will put your diabetes to sleep for good. Of course, the first signals your body is getting better will show up no later than 3 weeks after consistent use. And by the way, many people say they felt more energetic and less hungry after just a few days. But again, it is important that we fight somatic stress and completely restore your full pancreatic reserve in order to keep the long-term results. This is the only way to make sure that you keep yourself away from pancreas failure, heart disease, stroke, and other issues related to diabetes. So in order to experience our full satisfaction promise, the doctors from our research and development team recommend you take Glucolean for at least 90 to 180 days to assure you fully address low pancreatic reserve and meet your optimal metabolism and desired weight, and lock in those results. That means that 3 to 6 bottles of Glucolean is enough to completely eliminate somatic stress and restore your pancreatic reserve, reviving your entire body and removing your diabetes. So it's a guarantee of the most life-changing results. I'm going to let you order 90 days worth of Glucolean or 180 days worth today at an incredibly limited time discount, which will save you even more money on today's special low pricing. As I said, this is a special pricing only for today or until our limited run of inventory runs out. The price of our nutrients is rising fast due to demand, and we're selling our current inventory stock out fast. Before Glucolean, I've tried everything, and nothing seemed to work. My doctor laughed in my face when I asked him if prescription meds would cure my diabetes. That's why I dare to say that Glucolean is the only and most effective solution you can get right now to rapidly stabilize your blood sugar and melt fat around your organs and body. Nothing else out there has been proven to work. You've probably tried some other things before you stumbled upon this formula, so you know what I mean. All the meds you tried, the expensive therapies, the torturous diets, didn't it all lead you to the same conclusion that no expensive or painful solution out there works because they aren't actually made to cure your type 2 diabetes, and your physician is saying that straight to your face. If you didn't already, just give him a quick call and ask him if metformin is a cure for diabetes. He will be forced to admit that it is not. And how about those so-called holistic methods like meditation, acupuncture, or herbal shakes, which are usually made with cheap ingredients that lack active substances? All I can say is that most of them are not able to cure a common cold, let alone type 2 diabetes. 99% of the so-called alternative therapy gurus are fake, and their products are money drainers that won't get you well in a million years. Some of them don't even bother to lie properly or talk about results. Unlike Glucolean, which is backed up by scientific studies you can find through the links on this page, and comes with proven results which are guaranteed to show up after as little as 3 weeks. This is why I was initially advised to set the price for Glucolean at $997 a bottle. All the ingredients are natural, rare, and hard to procure. But even though this formula already helped over 97,000 lucky men and women who would happily pay triple the price after seeing the benefits themselves, I have no intention of charging you that much. If this was about money, I would have already sold this formula to Big Pharma because I've received countless offers from multiple companies. But you know something? I've been in your shoes, and what I've learned from this long and painful journey is that without your health and well-being, everything else fades away. And you can't put a price tag on that. So I'm not going to ask you for those insane amounts. I think everyone deserves a life where they are in charge of their own fate, not a lab rat on Big Pharma's fortune wheel, which is why there's no chance I could consider charging you anywhere near the $1,000 for this. And because you're watching this presentation, if you act today through this website and make the life-changing decision of investing in this extraordinary diabetes-destroying weapon, my team and I have agreed to give you the only effective treatment that allowed us to finally hit the stop button on type 2 diabetes for only $69 a bottle. But there's one more thing. Because I know how it feels to be at the end of one's rope, desperate and completely powerless, facing this terrible disease, I've convinced our manufacturing partner to set up a discounted package system of 6 bottles for just $49 per bottle plus free shipping. Today only. But you have to hurry up. Due to supply chain difficulties, we've been having a hard time sourcing these rare ingredients, and we can only produce a new batch of Glucolean once every 5 months. This means that once we run out of supply, the buy button will automatically disappear from this website, and you'll have to wait another 5 months. Click the 6-bottle package or any other package that you want below to secure your order. Consider this the smallest but most powerful investment you can ever make in yourself. Allow yourself to do this small and powerful investment today and see how good your life gets. starting as soon as your package arrives. Do it for your loved ones, for your children and grandchildren, and for the pleasure of spending just another moment with them. Look, one bottle of Glucolean might stabilize your blood sugar and deal with problems like restless sleep, low energy, and food cravings. 3 bottles might be enough to supercharge your entire body, melt extra pounds, improve blood flow, and help rejuvenate your brain cells to keep Alzheimer's away. However, the 6-bottle pack of Glucolean could not only shield your body from diabetes, but also erase the bad effects it produced to your body, including somatic stress, and also supercharge your pancreatic reserve to full capacity. This way, you will eliminate all types of metabolic dysfunctions, some at a cellular level, which you may not even have a clue about. So choose the package that fits you best. Press on the Buy Now button and you'll end up on our secure checkout page. Enter your payment details, place the order, and in just a few days from now, you'll get Glucolean at your doorsteps. But hurry up, because this may be the last chance to get your own supply of Glucolean before our stock runs out. Especially that this is a risk-free investment, 100% covered by my 60-day trial satisfaction or your money-back instant guarantee. Start taking this groundbreaking formula today and see for yourself how your blood sugar levels drop back to their normal range within days. Say goodbye to the endless hours of cardio and tasteless diet meals. You'll notice a significant decrease in appetite and a boost in energy levels that will allow you to power through your day without feeling sluggish or tired. Join the thousands of satisfied customers who have already achieved their weight loss goals with our product. And in the unlikely case that you won't be absolutely ecstatic about your results, simply write me an email and I will give you all your money back to the last cent, no questions asked. Why condemn yourself to a life of injections, of popping pills that make you go through unbearable headaches and stomach pains, that give you ulcers, kidney and liver failure, hormonal dysfunction, and even thyroid tumors? And all of this for what? So you can watch yourself lose control over your senses, go blind and deaf, risk a heart failure or an amputation? Think about it. Do you really want your kids to see their parents in agonizing pain, struggling with this awful disease, trying not to sink into depression? Is that really the life you want to choose? When right now, you have the quickest, natural way to revoke your type 2 diabetes just one click away? When you can get your hands on this method that has helped many other people so far? A method safer than any other treatment you're using right now, and so much cheaper even than your monthly stock of insulin and prescription drugs. Just think of the money you can save every month if you cut off those expensive medical bills, blood tests, or prescription drugs. So grab the most popular Glucolean bundle package now for just $49, and it will arrive at your doorstep in a matter of days. Listen, we are coming to an end here, and it's about time for you to make a choice. So let me simplify it for you. Option number 1 for you is to ignore the information that has been shared with you in this report and go on with your life like nothing ever happened. Keep going the way you are now with those horrible cravings, the lethal blood sugar spikes, the frustrating and inexplicable weight gain, filling your body with meds or torturing yourself with restrictive diets or insane workout sessions while risking loss of your vision, having a limb amputated, or ending up in a diabetic coma. Sure, you can go on this way, but you know, there is a saying that says that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Fortunately, today, there is a way out of this, a different way that brings different results. The doorway to a life where you're free of your belly fat is right in front of you. I've opened it for you. You only need to walk through it, which is why I want you to take a second here and seriously consider taking option number 2. With that option, you can say goodbye to your belly fat for good. You can quit the constant monitoring and keeping yourself alert all the time about any little piece of food you put in your mouth. You can forget about food guilt and obsessively focusing on whether foods are good or bad and feeling ashamed for feeding your body. You can start enjoying life again. You can enjoy your favorite foods and even indulge in desserts every now and then without ever worrying. You can live a long, happy life with the energy you need to do what you enjoy most. You can take vacations, eat at restaurants without restraint or anxiety. And there is no need to take with you countless pills or stressful medical devices. Right now, all you need to do to change the narrative of your life is a one-time risk-free investment in Glucolean. Take the easy way out of this. All it takes is deciding that you love yourself enough to say yes right now. The rest of it is all on us, and you'll be surprised at how well it works. So, make your choice below, enter your payment details into the secure box, and place the order now. I thank you for taking the time to listen to me and watch this presentation to the end. And I look forward to hearing about your stunning success with Glucolean. God bless. Tom. Still there? I'm glad you're thinking this through. I highly appreciate people who want to make an informed decision. So let me make it easier for you and recap the most important things you need to know about this program. What makes this formula so different from any other treatment or solution on the market? First of all, it's an amazing natural method that can help you break free from type 2 diabetes. Secondly, this solution doesn't just fix the symptoms for a very short period of time, like insulin injections or oral drugs do. This simple method goes straight to the root of the problem and restores the reserve capacity of your pancreas so your blood sugar levels drop naturally in a safe, organic way. Why haven't I heard of this before? Unfortunately, I do not have the resources that big pharma companies invest in their products. Even now, there is a vested interest in keeping this formula off the internet. So make sure you try this while you still can. How can I be sure it will work for me? Many other people have already tried this formula, and we've got clients from all around the world using it every single day. All you need to do is try the formula for yourself, starting today, risk-free, and get your life back. Why do you say this is a risk-free solution again? When you order this natural formula today, you are getting a 60-day money-back guarantee that protects your investment 24/7. If you're not completely happy with the results, just send me an email for an immediate full refund. You can even keep the program and try it out again if you want it, or share it with a friend. It's yours forever. No questions asked. No hassle. Will my doctor approve of this method? We have found that nearly every doctor we show this course is very enthusiastic about it. We do suggest, however, that you check with your own doctor before you begin the program. I'm interested. What happens next? After you select your package and hit the button below, you will be instantly redirected to a secure order page where you have to enter your information. Then we ship Glucolean directly to your door. And after you have successfully tried the formula and felt the amazing results, I look forward to hearing all about your new life.